Hey, and welcome to How to Set Up HoneyBook. So if you are new to this video series, this is actually video number 2, as you can tell in the title. If you missed video 1, you'll want to go back and watch that one first. Each one of these videos I've set up so that it builds on itself, so that you are doing the first things first and the last things last, sequentially, duh. So how to set up HoneyBook. I got this idea to create a video series because a friend of mine was so excited to dive into HoneyBook, and she opened it up and thought, where do I even start? So I thought, you know what, let me go ahead and record what I do when I do a custom build out and give you a high level view of how to set up your own HoneyBook for success. So this is video number 2. So this is video number 2, or part 2. The theme of this video is going to be your lead management. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Nicole Mace. I'm a systems strategist and a digital learning designer, and I help mama coaches and consultants scale their businesses with simple systems, dynamite digital programs, and accountability in community. If you are new here, definitely hit that like button and subscribe. You do not want to miss any of my videos. These are the videos that help you actually build your business, give you the components you need to work on your business so you're not just working in your business. Okay, so part 2, lead management. First thing I'm going to show you is how to set up Scheduler. Scheduler is how people can grab appointments with you based on your availability. So if you're familiar with a tool like Calendly, this is just like Calendly, but inside of HoneyBook, which means you can actually set up automations around the activities done in Scheduler. Component number 2 we're going to look at is how to set up your lead forms. So in HoneyBook, there are contact forms, which are very generic forms. There are also lead forms that have some different dynamics to it. So we're going to look at either of those, and I'll show you how to set up a basic inquiry form that you can actually set automations for. In later videos, I'll show you how to do that. And component number 3 of this video, I'm going to show you how to set up one of my favorite things that I do with all my clients, which is create a templated email and show them how to pre-schedule an email to be sent out to help with check-ins and lead management components. So for example, if you have a lead that jumps on a discovery call with you and you or they decide that now is not the right time, but maybe next quarter would be a better fit, then we can go ahead and pre-schedule out that check-in email to go out 3 months from now without you having to remember to do that 3 months from now. So we're going to pre-schedule out a templated email. It's going to be beautiful. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so part 2 is all about your lead management. This is probably one of my favorite parts of HoneyBook, is the fact that you can set up the experience in which a lead can kind of come into your world and what they experience along the way. So lead management, we're going to talk about lead forms, we're going to talk about that scheduling tool, and we're going to figure out how to send pre-scheduled emails using email templates. So some fun things here. Let's go ahead and dive in with Scheduler first. So let's say that you're not going to use Calendly, you're not going to pay for that additional tool when you know that HoneyBook actually has that full tool in the platform and you can set up automations around that activity. So you're going to find the scheduling tool when you go into tools. So you just hover over the word, you don't have to click on it. You're going to find Scheduler under productivity, and here we are. First, you'll be able to see something that looks very familiar, which is different session types. So I have one for client meeting, it's 1 hour, a coffee chat, strategy session, working session. So these are the types of sessions that can be scheduled on my calendar. So before we jump in here, I want to pull your attention to the top left corner. You'll see calendar. I'm going to click on calendar. Like I said in the previous video, you'll want to make sure that your core calendar, your main calendar, is connected here. So it's going to want to connect Google Calendar. You can connect other calendars though. If you click on the gear here, you'll be able to connect your calendar. Okay. All right, once you have your calendar connected, I will leave some resources down below to show you how to set up other calendar types like Outlook, Outlook has some other options as well, but Google is so popular, I wanted to point that one out first. We'll go back to Scheduler. Now it knows where to check for availability, right? Now we get to do the fun part and decide, okay, it's time to set up a new session type. I'm going to click New Session Type, and we have 3 pages to walk through, or 3 components to walk through. First and foremost is we want to title that, which we can title it here, sorry. We're going to set up the session type. This is going to be a video call. We're going to call this example, okay? And we're going to do video type. Now in my previous video, I showed you how to set up your Zoom if you are a Zoom preferred user, but you can also just set up Google and we'll initiate a Google Meet link instead. So either or. If you have a different video platform, you can select it here. So I'm going to select Zoom for mine, which means automatically a new Zoom meeting link will be generated for each session scheduled. Next, I'm going to set my time zone. The duration of this particular session type, I can leave it for 30 minutes. I can change it. I can update it to in hours there. And when can the session be scheduled? So if this is something new that you're going to be offering, maybe coaching on Fridays, but you're not going to start it until next month, then you'll want to select, it's going to be a rolling window, like, every other month or something like that, or a fixed date. Maybe you're only going to offer this session in Q4, for example. Okay. Session color. This is really nice to coordinate so that you can see as it pops up on your HoneyBook calendar exactly what type of meeting it is. So maybe I want to do this bright pink. And instructions. So these are the instructions that your lead will see when it's time for them to schedule a session. So if you want to give any instructions here, this would be the place. So information they may need in order to prep for that session as well. So I'm just going to type instructions and send an invite reminder, an invitee reminder. So you can set up for 1 hour to go out and 1 day prior, but of course you can adjust these if you prefer. I actually want it to go out, let's say 10 minutes prior. Okay, and I would like this to go out 1 day prior or 1 hour prior. Maybe that works better for me. I can also say, hey, send me a reminder just so I'm prepped for that meeting. You can also take away any of these reminders. Next, we're going to set up availability. So here's already component number 2. So component 2, you can see we have Monday through Friday availability. And if you do work Saturday and Sundays, on the previous page at the bottom below the different session types, you can set up your overall availability there. For this session though, maybe I'm not going to be available on Mondays. I can remove availability and apply it to all Mondays. Tuesday, I'm going to say, you know what, I don't start these types of calls maybe until noon, from noon to 5. Oh, that didn't save for me. That might work better there. All right, apply it to all Tuesdays. I can actually have multiple blocks here, right? So my first block I allow is a 9 to maybe 10, and then I have a chunk of time there, and I'm going to also allow some availability from 3 to, let's say 4:30 there. Okay, so I have 2 different time blocks. So you can go throughout and set your availability. Next is your buffers. How much time do you want in between these meetings that are set? So let's say Wednesday is a really popular day, but I need about 15 minutes before and after a meeting. A minimum notice. So how close to the actual scheduled meeting do you want someone to be able to book? Okay, so if I want a minimum notice, then I'm going to say, you know what, no one can book prior to 1 day before the actual meeting, just so I can glance at the calendar and see what my day is going to look like the next day. And we can do custom increments. So I'm going to toggle this on so you can see what this looks like. When someone comes to your calendar and wants to look at the availability or the option appointments, I actually want them to see the options within every 10 minutes. So if I have a 2-hour period, they can actually choose something within every 10 minutes that best works their schedule. I find that if I do like 30 minutes or something longer, then maybe they're just getting off a call or they have a new call coming in and it's too close to other meetings that they have scheduled on their calendars. So if they can have essentially a 10-minute buffer between a previous hour or a 10-minute buffer, closer to the next hour, it fits better in other people's schedules. Next, we're going to go to confirmation. Here's the last component. So what kind of message do you want them to see on this screen when they complete booking an appointment with you or scheduled a meeting with you? So you can add any other text in here. Thank you for scheduling with me. You might want to give them next steps, right? Usually when someone has scheduled with me, it triggers an automation where something is being sent to them, some kind of smart file where I'm giving them next steps, more information, additional resources, something like that. So I want to point them to that place. I also will tell them that they'll get reminders sent to your email, right? And the last thing that I always do is to make sure that they go to their appointment confirmation email and click the Add to Calendar. So on this page, they will also have an Add to Calendar button, but I want to make sure that they've added this to their calendar. Okay, so maybe that would be my next step is click Add to Calendar. Okay, and I can add more information that if they don't see it here, then they'll find it in their confirmation email. All right, it's going to give them some basic meeting information. And then it's going to send a confirmation email. You can allow it for people to reschedule if they need to and allow cancellation. So if you don't want to allow that, you can toggle these on and off. Save and finish. It's now creating it. Here's my link. And my scheduler is now live. Okay. So you'll see it right here. If I need to grab this link for any reasons, all I need to do is click on this link icon and it's now copied to my clipboard, and you can paste it anywhere you need. If you want to see what a client sees or a lead will see, click on the eyeball or preview button and you'll see this is what it's going to look like. Sometimes I check this out just to check my own availability when I'm asking someone to schedule a call with me. I'll check this and make sure there is some good availability on here because sometimes my calendar can get a little crazy. I can also duplicate this if I want to make a very similar session type and change one thing to it. I don't have to go through all three components. I can just duplicate it. You can edit it here. You can also toggle it on and off for when it's active and inactive. So here's your overall availability based on all of your different session types. So you can actually see what types of sessions can be scheduled each day. Okay. All right, so that's the scheduler. That's component number one, making sure that leads have an easy way, seamless way to schedule a call with you. Next, we're going to go to lead forms and contact forms. Let me explain the difference here. Lead forms, as you can see here, they're pretty new to HoneyBook, and essentially they're dynamic contact forms. A contact form is the original, it's the basic. So let me go to contact forms so you can see what that looks like first. It's always going to jump to the contact form that you have last edited, but you can go to all of your contact forms by clicking here. So if you don't see that, this is in settings. Go contact forms and you'll see the different contact forms you have available. You can also add a new one right here. So contact forms, I use this as like an application for a specific type of service. So a specific project type. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. So for my suite sales system, someone comes to me and says, I would love help with a full HoneyBook build out, customized to my business, set up all of my automations and my templates, my entire sales system for me. No problem. I have them start with this quick application so that I can get the basic information that I need to kickstart that project or learn about them and make sure that this is the perfect fit service for them. You can see my instructions say complete the application below, and then they'll be able to book a call when they hit that send button or the finish button on this application. They'll be rerouted to a scheduler to grab an appointment with me. So this is highly dynamic, right? When I hover over anything, you can see plus buttons, and I can add essentially anything I want anywhere. Okay, so it's going to offer up some question types. You can also add just different content. If I want more instructions there, if I want 2 columns, if I want 2 more images, a cover image, a banner image. So again, different layouts there. So you can really jazz this up. So again, they are going to be able to see kind of like a mini website page. To publish this, you can actually embed this entire form on your website, or you can go to other options and you have the regular URL copy right here. Okay. All right. So now what I love about using contact forms as a project type application is because in the settings, I can actually identify what project type is assigned to this form, which you'll see in other videos, or I think video 5 is where I'm showing this, the automation setup, okay, which this is going to tell HoneyBook what automation I am sending this client to, okay? So this is what I love to use about contact forms versus a lead form, is if someone's coming to me for a specific project type, maybe through a podcast I've done or a workshop I've done, and they're like, yes, girl, I need to talk to you about that, then I'm going to create an application using a contact form, because I can assign that project type right here, and I can get them more service faster, get the details that we need faster. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to hover over tools. I'm going to go to lead forms. Now, lead forms are fun. These are different forms. So essentially the types of lead forms that you can have are going to be, these are the ones that I've set up. Okay. Okay. So to look at the different lead forms that you are able to set up, you're going to select create new, and these are the form types. So if you want someone to be able to book a session with you that is paid for, this is the lead form you're going to use. Okay. If you want to do an introductory call, this is what I recommend for like a coffee chat or an introduction call, or let's see if you, if one of my services is best fit for solving your problem, that kind of thing. An inquiry form can be very basic, just like a contact form. Instant booking, so allow potential clients to choose a service, schedule a session, and pay instantly. So this is very quick, like they need this help right now. Speaking engagement, super nice to have here, and a partnership forum. So of course, as you're working through and building your business, you are creating more and more partners. And so you want that experience to look different than a lead or a client. Okay. So let me just show you how to set this up. So if I were to do an introductory call, this is probably most common when we're setting up our lead management. This is going to come with 2 pages. So I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to edit this one. Essentially, this is a smart file. Okay, so you're sending them a smart file. You're sending them to a smart file. So page 1 of 2, this is where you can set up any text or image. Again, this is a smart file, so you can put anything you want anywhere. So I can hover and select a block. I can add anything I want. You'll meet me in another video to get a full breakdown of a smart file, but I just want to show you how this is easily set up. So you can say, hi, I am a system strategist. Okay, and then you can add more text, grab an appointment with me. So below here, we're actually going to select the type of session that someone can book with me. So this is going to be for coffee chats. So the coffee chat scheduler is going to pop up right here. If I need to edit or change any details right now, I can do that. And the client must schedule a session to move to the next page. I'm going to keep that toggled on. Okay. So essentially when you're a consultant and you're like, hey, grab an appointment with me on my Calendly, this is what you would do. Because the first thing you're going to do is grab an appointment. But the next thing that they're going to be able to do is go to page 2, which is a questionnaire essentially. So again, you can add different text here, and here are the questions that you can start customizing. I want to point out these little double rings here. That means that this information is directly connected to those project details. They are required in order for someone to complete this form, because you have noted that these are project information details that are needed to actually create any kind of project. So For example, full name, email, right? And then we can also name something. If I want to change this, let's say I'm going to click on that. I'm going to change the question type to, let's say, drop-down menu. And I'm going to say that this drop-down menu question is linked to a response to a field. So if I toggle that on, it's going to say, what project detail is this question going to fulfill? So I'm going to say, maybe this is where I'm going to ask them to choose my lead source or their lead source. So from here, they'll click here, and this is that same list, and they'll be able to identify how they found you, essentially how they connected. So you can change, of course, any of these questions to be something that's a little more in your voice and your personality and tone, so it sounds like you are asking the questions. So when they're done, completed, they'll hit submit and everything will be scheduled. You'll have all of the basic information you need. Their call will be scheduled. They'll start getting those reminder emails. And when you hop on the intro call with them, you'll have a great foundation for who they are and who they serve and what problems they may be seeking to solve. Okay. So when you hit publish, this will now be ready for you to give you a URL that you can copy and paste anywhere you need. This can be in a social media post. This can be on your email. This can be in your like a social media profile, right? So this is how they're going to schedule introductory calls with you. Okay, so that is a lead form. Very cool. I love it. When someone books a call with you and fills out any kind of inquiry form, they're going to automatically go to projects and they'll be in the inquiry stage. Okay, so that's how quick that happens. Last but not least, let's go ahead and talk about how to send out pre-created or templated emails and then be able to schedule them out for a later date. Okay, so in Tools, you're going to hover over Tools and then find My Templates. We're going to scroll past the Smart Files. That's going to be in the next video. I want you to find the basics here and I want you to click on Emails. So here is where you can create a ton of templated emails for yourself, okay? Now, to create a new email, select New Email, right? You're gonna set a subject here. And you can customize this a little bit by clicking on this bracketed X. It's gonna start with the client's first name. And then you can start with your message, okay? You can add your signature block here. You can add a link that they need to go to. You can change up any of the formatting, okay? Or that actually opens up your formatting here, okay? All right, so you can also add a file. So once this template is created, I'm just gonna call that template test. Okay, so you can template that out. So for example, one I have is, hey, you missed your call. Feel free to reschedule with me and I'll show you what that looks like. So now we have a templated email to pull in with a quick response at any time. So let me go to a project. Okay, let me go to a project. And let's say that this client, I need to send her an email and I already have that template. So I'm gonna make sure I'm in her project. I'm gonna click on activity because that is interactions. I'm gonna click on this and say, I'm gonna send a new message. Look at the bottom left corner here. This is where I can pull out all of my templated emails, okay? So let's see if I can find that one I just created. Template test, great. And I can continue to add if there's any other details I need to add here. I can also, if this is someone who needs to reschedule with me for any reason, you'll find the tool here to insert a session link. So right here, I can say, you know what, grab a new session with me, a new strategy session. So book here. Now they're going to have a link that goes directly to that session. This is another reason to use HoneyBook scheduler tool embedded directly in this platform. All right. Now, last but not least, let's say, okay, I'm not sending this today. I'm going to actually send this. I'm going to schedule it out. So one example that I use this a lot in pre-scheduling it out is if a client says, if we have a discovery call and she decides, this sounds really great. It's not in the budget for this quarter, but definitely next quarter, I'm actually going to schedule out my check-in email with her to go out next quarter automatically. I'm going to do it right now after I speak with her. So I'm going to say, schedule this out, custom date. I'm going to pick, next quarter. So maybe September 6th. Okay. The time is here. I can change that. And then I can click send later. And it's already done, right? It's going to go to that client when it's supposed to go to that client without me having to think about it again. So great. Okay, friend, in this video, we covered how to set up your scheduler, how to set up a lead form, and then also how to create a templated email to do a quick check-in that's already pre-scheduled. This was a fun video, really important video, actually pretty great when you're setting up the experience for your lead coming into your world. I love it. I do want to point you to my Ultimate HoneyBook Setup checklist for consultants. It's going to go over these very similar steps in more details. It's a complete checklist for a full setup. And also each component in the checklist is linked to other resources. If you want to dive in a little deeper there, you'll find this in the description box below. And if you're already thinking, Nicole, this is way too much work that I do not have time for, then I do want to point you to my done for you suite sales system with HoneyBook. I customize your complete sales system in HoneyBook. It's a custom build out in 4 weeks flat. I do this over and over again for my coaching consulting clients when they realize the power of HoneyBook, but also realize they do not have the capacity, the time to dive in and learn this platform from the bottom up, but they know that they want to leverage the heck out of it. So I'll give you the link below to check that out as well. I'll see you in the next one.